Well, this is not a new thing. Russia has been trying to pivot east for quite a while, for a decade or more. It's built a major oil pipeline to China. It's built a major gas pipeline to China and is trying to build new pipelines. But obviously, the war in Ukraine and the European sanctions on Russia have given this all much greater urgency. The European market is now almost entirely closed off to Russia, and so it has to find another place to sell its enormous oil and gas exports. And really, this is kind of two challenges. I mean, the oil side, oil is kind of primarily going by tankers, of course. Those can be routed around the world. The voyage from Western Russia to India or to China is a much longer route than going to Europe, but it's feasible. And indeed, since the start of the war, Russia has sent more oil to China to some extent, but actually more to India. But the gas side is really a much trickier problem. The gas infrastructure, the pipelines that bring gas from Siberia to Europe, they started being constructed back in the late 60s and the 70s. So this is a work of 50 years to create this gas infrastructure. It's enormously expensive, very long distances. And now if Europe persists in reducing its reliance on Russian gas and Russia persists in cutting its supplies to Europe, that is basically junk metal. And so Russia has to try and reorient all of its gas, 90% at least of its gas exports that went to Europe to China. And for many reasons, that's not feasible. The distances are even longer than to Europe, huge expense. And the Chinese, I think, have seen what's happened to Europe. They do not want to be heavily dependent on Russia in the same way Europe became. Of course, they will take more Russian gas, but they will always want to have a diverse supply, including supplies from Central Asia, supplies as liquefied natural gas brought by sea, and their own domestic gas.